coming at you live at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to be part of the Michelle campaign that we're doing to fight with Michelle. Some of you know by now, if you've been following this campaign, we're doing a 24-hour kind of telethon for Michelle to raise both awareness for her situation and to raise financial support for her as well. So if you're joining me live right now, which I see Christopher Campbell just joined the live stream, Clinton Becker joined the live stream, welcome to my 3 a.m. show. Thank you for tuning in, and as people tune in, including Mike Phillips and others, I appreciate the opportunity to visit with you at glorious 3 a.m. in the morning. Now, some of you who know me and follow my work, you know that staying up at 3 o'clock in the morning is not new for me. I usually do stay up until sometimes 4 or 4:30, while others who are getting up for the rise and grind, while they're getting up at 4, I'm actually going down at 4. Oliver, thank you for joining. Jeffrey Lee Parton, thank you for joining. Michelle, Polly McLean, thank you for joining the live stream. And so as people come in, obviously it's 3 in the morning. I don't expect to have a really large crowd for this particular stream, but I decided to pick a slot that maybe would be harder for other people, and in this case, I'm happy to do that. So as far as this particular stream goes, if you're watching the replay, which some of you, in fact, probably the vast majority of you who are watching this stream are going to be watching the replay, I want to give you a couple of reasons to stay tuned, a couple of reasons to be part of this particular stream. So as people are joining in, and actually I'm getting an audience here, I've got actually a handful of people, I'm hitting the double digits already. That's pretty exciting at 3 in the morning. It's midnight actually, I guess, on California time. So if you're a late night person at California time, welcome to the stream here. Chad Morgan says, amazing for giving my time. Actually, Chad, I appreciate the compliment, but this is a very easy thing for me to do for such a simple a need, and such a, I shouldn't say simple need, such a simple thing for me to do for such a pressing need, and an easy way for me to give towards this challenge that you guys are dealing with. So it's my pleasure, it's my honor to do so. I want to add some value, so let me go ahead and start with some value. Thank you for tuning in. If you're just watching the stream, what we're doing as we're doing this kind of 24-hour marathon, and so as a way of kind of making you want to give to the cause, there's a GoFundMe link in the description, so you can actually participate in the cause and the campaign by supporting it directly through that link. And I'm going to try to give you some good reasons to do so. I'm going to give you some value right now and answer some questions. So if you're live on the stream and you want to interact and participate with this particular live stream, feel free to ask questions. I'll be happy to try to tailor the presentation to those of you who are crazy enough to be up at 3 in the morning Eastern time. But Dave Benson, hey champion, good to see you. Sean Kelly joined. Hey guys, there's a lot of people up tonight. For those of you who are watching the replay, here is some value. I want to talk a little bit about some strategies, some things that you can use, especially if you're on a sales team, to elevate your business. And so I'm going to break this stream into a couple of segments for you. And so let me just kind of tell you what's going to happen as you can expect the stream to progress for the next 30 minutes. And if you get value from what I'm about to show you, all I ask is that in return, you take and monetize that value and give to the GoFundMe campaign. So if you like what you're seeing here and you think, man, that'll help me make more money, take that value and translate it to the GoFundMe account and donate to the cause that we're raising awareness for. All right, so here's how the segment's going to go. I'm going to break it into chunks, and I'm going to tackle a couple of key areas. So let me tell you what you're going to get. I want to first start by talking about some psychology of sales process, sales experience for the customer. I want to give you some really interesting ideas that can build value, ideas to help you close more deals, ideas to help you be more effective with your customer. So the first segment here that I'm going to talk about for the next few minutes, so it's 3:04 now, so I'm going to go to about 3:12, 3:15, something like that. First chunk is going to be on sales. Then the next chunk of information I'm going to talk about is going to be some mindset, some attitudes, some psychology of your own kind of your own way of thinking, how you can master your mindset. So that'll be the second wave of information, and then we'll close the third wave with some marketing stuff. So we'll get into some marketing at the end. So let me get into the first part, which is some psychology of sales. So I just did a live stream earlier, I guess it would be yesterday. I did a live stream earlier yesterday for a group of salespeople on building value during your presentation. And so I want to talk about how you can build more value with your next customer through the way that you present to your customer. So buckle up, take some notes, get ready to process information that you can use with your next customer to build value. The presentation, I want to talk about the mindset and the mechanics of an effective presentation. So the first thing is the mindset, right? When you're presenting your product, ultimately your goal, if I may kind of suggest for you, your goal should be to present your product in such a way that the person who sees your presentation translates the features, functions, and benefits to real benefit, a felt or practical benefit for themselves. So I want to tell you, first of all, the mindset. When you're presenting your product, when you're presenting the vehicle, you need to do so in a way that personalizes it and allows the customer to see the either felt or realized a kind of real benefit they'll experience. So on the felt side of it, like on the emotional side of it, when I'm showing a vehicle, I want to make sure I talk about the emotional side of the excitement of the car, or how it takes away their fear of, from maybe the mechanical issues they were having with their last car, or how exciting it is that they're getting a new car, or the prestige of this car compared to their last car. So I want to talk in kind of in emotional terms, but I also want to talk in very pragmatic, kind of practical terms. I talk about the upgrades and the nicer, newer features and the benefits that they'll be getting. So that's kind of when I'm doing the presentation, I kind of in the back of my head, I have these two things, these two themes, if you will. I want to say, John, make sure you tie this emotional benefit, but then also make sure you tie it to a physical or practical benefit as well. You always want to kind of play both sides of that when you're showing your product, how this solves a problem for them emotionally, and then how it solves a problem for them practically. That's very important when selling and building value through your presentation. So that's a little bit of the mindset. That's kind of behind the scenes. That's kind of what is driving the way that I'm presenting my product. Now, the mechanics of it are also important, which is the things that you do, the actual things that you say. So leading into the presentation of your product, here's a couple of guidelines for you that can help you build more value, create more mental ownership in your presentation, and cause a customer to want to buy from you. The first thing that I would recommend when it comes to your presentation is that as you're I'm going to give you a couple of rules, if you will. The very first rule that you should have when you come up to the vehicle is that you should never let the customer get inside the car first, or never let the customer open the car door first. So I'm going to give you kind of some hard rules that I'll just say, if you follow these rules, I believe you'll experience immediate benefit from your sales process and from your building presentation. So here's a mistake, or here's a common practice. Salesperson will walk up to the car and hit the unlock button, and then the customer just opens it up and or sitting inside. That's a common mistake that gets made all the time. So the way you fix that is, as you're walking up to the vehicle, here's the mechanics part. You're going to walk up to the vehicle. You're going to say, folks, do you mind? I'm going to go ahead and get the vehicle pulled out from the row for you. I want to show you a few things. And then you do not hit the unlock button and just let them crawl through the car, open the car. You walk up and you say, hey guys, if you don't mind, I'm going to pull it up for you. And you walk up and you don't hit unlock until you get right up to the door. That way you're kind of, if you want to use the word control, you're maintaining the direction of the sale. So once I unlock the car, the very next thing I do is I get inside the car, and obviously in this case it's summertime. So very first thing you do, start to get the AC going as cold as possible. So set it all the way to maximum AC. That's the first thing that you do when you get inside the car. The next thing that you do when you get inside the car is you're going to expand the driver's space. So this is really important. When I get inside that car, the next thing I do once I get the AC going is I'm going to put the seat all the way back. I'm going to put it all the way down. I'm going to take the all the way up, and so I'm going to expand the space of the steering of the driver's space. I'm going to expand it as much as possible. That's the next thing I'm going to do. The car's running, the AC's running. I've got the car expanded as much as I can on the driver's side. Next thing I do, pull the car forward. Obviously, hit the trunk release, hit the hood latch release. I've got all that done. I get out of the car. Here's what I say. I say, if you don't mind helping me out, could you go ahead and get the hood for me? That's all you say. Hey, if you don't mind helping me out, could you go ahead and get the hood for me? While the customer's kind of fiddling with the hood latch, while they're kind of fiddling with the latch, you come out and you're going to car. Now, if you're familiar with the term butterfly of the car, when you butterfly a car, what you do is you take a car from its cocoon state, right? The cocoon state of the car is where everything is kind of closed, and you're going to kind of open it up and flap the wings of the butterfly, right? That's called butterflying the car. So what you're going to do is you're going to say, hey, would you mind going ahead and get the hood for me? And when the customer starts to fiddle with the hood latch, you're going to walk around the back to the trunk, and you're going to open up the driver's side rear door, the trunk. Then you're coming around the passenger side. You're going to hit the passenger rear door, and I'm talking obviously on a sedan, passenger door, and by the time you get over, they should have the hood open, and now the car is fully opened up and displayed. Now here's what's important about this, and this is why the sequence I'm showing you really does help build value and maintain the flow of the sale. When a customer sees that you're intentionally doing that, they're not likely to just assert themselves and just take over the process, because they see that you're clearly have a plan. So the customer will almost always just wait, hold back, and they kind of see you're doing something, so they're not going to probably just kind of override you. So when you come all the way to the hood of the car, here's where it gets really interesting on the mechanics and the language and the mindset. When I walk up to the car, or to the hood of the car, and the customer's there, they've got the latch open, hopefully by then, I'm going to say, hey, step back for just a second, because I want to go over the car with you, but before I do, I want to ask you a question. I'm going to give you a question that I developed years ago when I sold cars full-time, and it's a really cool question to ask customers. And here's the question. It's a really and it goes like this. I'll say to the customer, I'll say, if you don't mind me asking, based on the research you've done and the time that you've allowed for today, I can offer you more of an overview, or if you'd like, I can give you the full show. Now, when I would do this with a client live on the, I would go a snapshot, an overview, or if you like, I can give you the full show. And I would do the jazz hands, right? Give them a little bit of the jazz hands here. When you give customers jazz hands, you separate yourself from almost every other salesperson they've ever met. Very few salespeople can effectively do jazz hands. So whenever you can, jazz hands into selling, it's amazing. So as I would get the customer ready for the presentation, I'm trying to build anticipation, right? I'm trying to build in the mind of the customer. I'm trying to say, hey, what's about to happen next is kind of fun, it's kind of different. So I'd say, hey, based on the research you've done, based on the time you've allowed, I can offer you a snapshot, I can offer you an overview, or if you prefer, and then I just do what's called a pregnant pause, right? You wait. Snapshot overview, or if you prefer, I'll give you the full show. Now, when you offer customers those three options, and especially if you add that dramatic effect, a little bit of theater, you'll find the vast majority of people will be intrigued and curious by your offer. And they'll say, yeah, that's fine, you can give me the full show. Because now there's something that you've obviously prepared, and there's something you want to show them, and you've given them the right to choose that option. Now, just so you understand, a snapshot is going to be probably a walk around that may be about 3 to 5 minutes of a walk around. If a customer's coming from the exact same vehicle, which is upgraded version of that vehicle, if it's something like that, a snapshot can be 3 to 5 minutes. An overview is going to be more in that 5 to 10 minute range. And when somebody allows you to do the full show, when they give you the right to do that, you now have permission to really sell the car and build massive value. So anywhere from a 10 to 20 minute walk around would be acceptable on a full show. So once again, here's the process, especially for those of you just joined, right? When you're presenting the vehicle and you want to maximize value in your presentation, you're going to want to have the ability to tailor your presentation to meet the customer's felt needs or practical needs. There's two types of needs or two types of goals that you should have when presenting your product: the emotional aspect of what you're presenting and the practical aspect of what you're presenting. When I get to the car, the mechanics of that is I say, hey, listen, let me get this car opened up for you guys. Allow me 1 second. Never just hit unlock and let the customer start the process. You want to maintain the direction of the sale. So I walk up to the car, hit the unlock, grab the door myself. Say, give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to pull it forward for you. I'm going to pull the car forward. Now, remember, I get the AC blowing brutal cold in the summertime, obviously heater in the winter. Next thing that I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to go ahead and expand the driver's space, right? Seat goes back, seat goes down, steering wheel goes up. If you're paying attention, this is really important. Expand the space that the driver experience will be in. Then what do? I get out of the car, I hit the hood latch, the trunk release, and I say, hey, listen, would you mind helping me with the hood? I go around the back of the car, get the trunk, get all the doors, butterfly that car, meet the customer at the front of the hood. And here's what I say. I say, hey, step back for just a second with me. Just step back for just a second with me. I have to ask you a question. Now remember, what I'm doing is I'm building anticipation. The customer does not normally get this kind of experience. So their brain is kind of telling them, hey, this is special, this is different. I wasn't expecting this, something's going on here. Pattern interruption's happening. So then I say, hey, listen, based on the experience with the car, familiarity, and the time you've allowed, I can offer you a snapshot, an overview, or if you prefer, I can give you the full show. Now, I like to put a little slide in my glide, a little pep in my step when I do that. And then I simply say, what would you prefer? A lot of customers will pick the full show. They've given me permission. Now, here's what I do. Obviously, I should know their hot buttons. Obviously, I should be aware of what their primary goals and needs are. I should hopefully know what they're coming from as a previous vehicle to the new vehicle. This will give me the points I need. It'll give me the upgrade points that I need. This is kind of important stuff, so hopefully you did that in the investigative stage. But now I'm going to get ready for the walk around. As a structured walk around of the vehicle, you want to make sure that you're always tying back to remember those two things I said, the felt needs of the customer and the practical needs of the customer. And the way that you do that is as you're presenting the product to the customer, you always want to make sure that you tie them into things that the customer's already told you about their other car, or their hot buttons for getting into a new car, right? So you might say things like, hey, Steve, I recall you sharing with me on your old car that one of the challenges you had with it is it didn't have X. And I want to show you how this vehicle, I think, will improve your situation. And I want to ask you how you'll feel about this compared to your old car. How do you feel about this compared to your old car? Listen to that language. How do you feel about this compared to your old car? How would you feel having this compared to your old car, right? How would you feel? And then I'm going to say, what would be, practically speaking, like, will this be better for your situation compared to your old car? Will you enjoy using this better or compared to your old car? Is this something that you're going to get a lot of value from compared to your old car, right? Is this something that you'll appreciate compared to your old car? So I'm going to use that kind of language as a presentation. So remember, when you're doing a product presentation, you got to meet the customer's felt needs, the emotional needs they're trying to solve, and the practical needs they're trying to solve. There's the analytical part of the process. Does it check certain boxes? And then there's the emotional side of the process. Do I feel comfortable that this is a good value and this is a good decision that I'm making? If you can do a walk around based on those that criteria, and you can, of course, feature, function, advantage, benefit, alternative, if you can do that while you're doing your presentation, you'll build massive value, have a customized presentation, and you'll get more customers to want to do business with you. So that's a couple tips for you on that. Now, obviously in the comments, I would love to see your thoughts on that, feedback on what you think of my idea there. And I'm going to switch gears and go into some life skills because I promised you I'd cover a couple different ideas. I want to give a couple shout outs though real quick. So Andrew Myers, apparently he joined the stream. Hey Andrew, good to see you. Ken Serratos joined the stream. Mike Mitchell did. L.A. Williams, hey my friend. The Blind Phone Master. Cameron joined the stream. Chuck Swan joined the stream. Ryan joined. Derek joined. Sammy from New Zealand joined. Danny Benitez joined. Hi Danny, good to see you my friend. So thank you so much again. Yes, the spirit fingers. Cameron knows what I'm talking about there. So give me some feedback on that. Is that practical? Is that something you can do with your next customer? Let's switch gears for a little bit and let's talk about mindset. And I want to talk about attitude, mindset, the psychology of your day, the psychology of the way you manage your focus, right? So here's a conversation I had recently with a salesperson in New York, and I think this is going to add some value to some of you. I asked them what their personal goal was for the month. Now this is going to hit home for some of you. This is going to, I think, really connect and relate. If it does, if you think this is really meaningful, or if you think you know somebody who would benefit from this, I hope you tag it, get value from this. Remember, the reason we're doing this is Michelle. I want to draw you back to that. She's going through a very difficult emotional time and a very difficult physical time as she's dealing with this attack on her body. And so we're trying to raise awareness and raise funds. And so if you get value from this and you feel compelled to, please contribute to the campaign and to GoFundMe. That's in the description, all right? Now, when it comes to your attitude and your mindset, the salesperson, I asked him, what was your goal when you started the month? This was about a week into the month. I said, what was your goal this month? And he said, my goal was 15. Now, I'm going to do some math with you, okay? So don't get lost. I know it's like 3 in the morning Eastern time, but let me do a little bit of math with you. I said, well, so help me understand your goal. You said your goal is 15. How many work days are you scheduled in a calendar month? Just so I understand kind of what your schedule's like. He says, well, he starts walking through their schedule. And anyway, it ends up being around 22 days normal scheduled month, 22 days. I said, okay. I said, so in a month, will you ever have a day where you might sell more than one car? Will that happen, or do you expect that could happen in a month? He said, yeah, of course, it might even happen twice. I said, so just to be sure on how the math works. Now, follow me for a moment on this and tell me if this hits home for you the way it did for Alex. I said, so you're telling me your goal is 15. You have 22 scheduled work days. So just based on math, if you take the word goal, right, if you take that idea of goal, and you look for a synonym to the word goal, right, another word that means the same thing as goal. And in fact, in the comments, if you want to participate in this part of the presentation, you can write a synonym to the word goal, right? So what's another word that means the same thing conceptually as my goal? What's another word for that, or another phrase from my goal, right? So go ahead and add some comments. Let me get you, some of you are participating in this morning. So go ahead and share some, somebody's sorry. Go ahead and share some of what you think that is. Come on, a couple of you guys are on the live stream. Participate with me, interact with me a little bit. Tell me, what's another word or another phrase that means the same thing as goal? And as you're doing that, I'm going to say hi to a couple people here. Randy just joined the stream. Hans Grostad joined the stream. Welcome to the stream. Thank you guys for being here. So what's another word? What's another phrase for the word goal? When a salesperson says, my goal this month is 15, replace the phrase my goal is and replace it with another phrase. Will be another way of saying that, right? So go ahead and add that to the comments. Let me see what you're coming up with so far. Dan Cummins in the house. Zach Toomey. My objective, desire. Dave, love it. Thank you, my friend. Benchmark. That'd be another one, right? Objective, desire, benchmark. Give me a couple more. What I shared with him, I think, will have a similar impact on some of you. So play along and hang with me for a minute. This, I think, when I hit the punchline here, it's probably going to punch you in the gut. Okay. To not get fired. Target. Somebody said. All right. So those are some good ones. To not get fired, of course, is I guess a reasonable minimal standard you should have. Okay. So the word goal, right? So here's what I asked the salesperson. Here's what I'm going to ask you. I said, so if your month is 22 work days and your goal is 15, your desire, your outcome, aiming for, your objective, your mission, your hope, if that's what you're saying is, out of 22 days, my hope is that I'm unproductive 7 days out of the month that I'm going to be here. Right? That's what that means. Out of 20, I'm going to try to be productive and sell 15. So at a minimum, my hope is to average 7 unproductive days at the store. That'll be my goal. My goal, my desire, the outcome I'm aiming for is to be unproductive out of the 22 if I'm just doing 1 car a day. Now, the salesperson said that he would have probably at least 2 days that he would probably sell more than 1 car. So probably that means it's not 15 days, it's actually 13, which means it's now 9 unproductive days. So I asked the salesperson, I said, help me understand the way your subconscious mind is working. What you're basically telling yourself when you set a goal of 15 on a 22 calendar workday, what you're saying to yourself subconsciously is, I give myself permission to leave my family for 8, 9, 10, 12 hours, come to work, and to be there the entire time, and on average be unproductive 9 out of 22 of those days. Now, 9 out of 22 is like 40-something%. It's like 40% basically. So what you're telling me is 40% of the calendar days that I'm there, I budget, I plan, I desire, I have a target of. My outcome that I desire is to be 40% of the time I'm away from my, I have a goal of being unproductive, profitable, unprofitable. That to me is madness, to make that your goal. Now, it's one thing if that's an outcome that happens, but it should never be anyone's goal to be unproductive 40% of the time they're at work and to be away from family 9 out of 22 work days and not produce a result for your family financially. So I just asked them a question. Why would you set a goal of that? Like, why would that be the way you start your psychology? That to me is crazy. So if there's 22 work days, I don't know how you could possibly set a goal of under 22. I don't care if you've been in the business 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, 20 years. You have 22 calendar days that you're scheduled to be away from your family and be at the dealership. Why in God's name would you not have a goal at least, the target, the outcome I'm aiming for. Why not have a goal of at least producing a sale per day as a desired outcome? Any goal, if you're in sales and you're going into August and you have a number less than the number of work days, you have subconsciously given yourself permission to be unprofitable and unproductive when you're away from your family. And I just think that's crazy. There is no good reason to start your subconscious mind with that outcome and giving yourself permission to have that level of production. So here's my challenge for you, and here's my question to you. Why would you do that? Are you doing that now? What story do you tell yourself that gives you permission to set a target, a goal, to set that lower than the number of days that you're going to be away from your family? Most of us, whoever we love most in the world, the people we love the most are not the people that are at the dealership in the world. You have a family or somebody that you love more than the people you spend 8, 10, 12 hours with at the store. Almost all of us, that's true. So if I'm going to leave the people I love the most in the world, don't I at least owe them, if I'm away from them, don't I owe them a result, a profitable and productive result for that time? And why would I ever start a month with a goal of anything producing a single sale per day as a minimum standard? So this is my encouragement to you. Never set a goal, ever, again, from this day forward, to produce a result for less time than you're committed to being involved in the process. If you're going to be there 22 days, by God, a minimum goal. Okay, so that's some ideas on that. I hope that that makes sense to you. I hope that you can at least psychologically appreciate that, subconsciously start your month with the objective of being less productive than you're going to be at the dealership. Now, that doesn't mean that simply saying, okay, goal is 22 because I have 22 work days, that's going to magically produce 22 sales. That's not how. It's not enough to simply write down 22 instead of 15. That's not enough. It's a starting point that you shouldn't start with 15. You should start with at least 22 as a minimum plan. Now, I would probably aim higher than that because I'm delusional. I just believe you should aim higher than that. But I wouldn't aim less than that, right? All right, so let me kind of switch gears here, and I'm going to talk about marketing, because some of you are wondering, okay, John, how do I do that? And I need more opportunities. So I'm going to talk about that next. So let me kind of see in the comments here. So hold on with me. Remember, the reason we're doing this, and I'm wrapping up my stream here in a second, but the reason we're doing this is for Michelle. If you're getting any value from this, any value at all, contribute. $5, $2, $20, $100. If you get value from this, the GoFundMe in the description is the place that you respond with some obligation and some reciprocity. If you get value, please contribute to the stream, to the GoFundMe. So let me see here. Donnie Cooper joined the stream. Thank you so much. Jason, hey, thank you so much, my friend. Jeffrey Lee's giving some comments. Rudy says, Magnus and I like it. I love it. Thank you so much. All right, let's get into a little bit of marketing, and then we're going to wrap up because I'm coming up on my end of the stream, and I want to be able to join the next person's stream. Okay, when it comes to marketing, I'm going to give you the most basic thing that nobody does that you can do immediately, and I mean like starting effectively like even tomorrow. You can do this tomorrow, actually. You can do this on Sunday for your Monday and Tuesday to wrap up the month. So here's a very simple, costs you like nothing, simple thing that you can do. And I'm going to ask you to all, and let me know. Just if you want to try this tomorrow. You can do it tomorrow, and then let me know. Even if your dealership's closed tomorrow, you can do this tomorrow. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to take your phone. You got a phone here, and you're going to record a video on your phone, and it's going to go something like this. So I'm going to go ahead and record a video just so you can see, because I like to practice what I preach. So I got my camera here, got my selfie mode on. So I'm going to go like this. Here's what the video will look like. Okay, so you're going to do this tomorrow, and I'm going to show you what to do with it. It's going to go something like this. Hi, everybody. Listen, the reason you're getting this particular video is because you are in my phone. You're actually a contact phone book, and I'm creating this video specifically for you. I have a very special project I'm working on, and I need your help. And so I'm going to ask you to do two things. This video will be very short. I'm going to ask you to do two things. Either personally, if you are willing to help me out by doing the easiest thing. I'm going to ask you first, would you please forward this video to somebody you think will like my message? So you can do that. Just forward it, send it to somebody else. If you'll do that, that would be the first thing that you can do. The second thing you can do is this. If you are open, interested at all in getting into a nicer, newer vehicle, upgrading your vehicle, taking advantage of some really cool programs that I have, if you could get into a nicer and newer vehicle and keep your payments relatively the same, not maybe the exact same, some of you lower, some of you a little bit higher, some of you right around the same, but if you could do that, I'd like you to respond back to the message and say, hey, what do you have like X? And then tell me what kind of car that would be. And let me try to see if I can make that happen. Just respond back to this message and say, do you guys have any X's, whatever that is? Let me go to work for you. So that is what I'm asking you to do. So the first thing you can do is just forward this to somebody to help me out, and somebody that you think I could help. Second thing you do is let me know if you get a nicer, newer car. So you're getting this message because you're in my phone. Again, if this is being forwarded to somebody, I'm Jonathan Dawson. I work at ABC Motors, and this is being forwarded to you by somebody who was in my phone. So if you don't know me, I'm Jonathan, and I would like to get to know you. All right? If you are my friend and you're in my phone, hi, bye. And that's the video. Something like that. You're going to create a video that you're going to specifically send to the contacts in your phone. And so you're just going to create the video. It's going to be about a minute long. That particular one, let me see here. Hi, everybody. Listen, the reason you're getting this video, so you're going to do about a minute and a half. And then what you're going to do is either whether that be by YouTube or whether that be a direct upload from iPhone, to iPhone, or if you have a streaming service, you're going to send that video. Now, you're going to do that two ways. You're going to send it just like I just showed you. You're going to do that video, and then you're going to send it to every individual person on your phone. Now, watch this. It's very important. You're not going to do a mass text. We're not talking about mass texting people. We're talking about you're going to create a simple message that says, I made a special message, made a special video for people in my phone. Please watch this. I made a special video for people in my phone. Please watch this. That's what you're going to say. And then you're just going to copy the video and copy that message, and you're going to send it individually, one at a time, to people on your phone. So take a look at your contact list. Let's say you have 150 people. You're going to break that down and say, okay, so if I try to send this many every 10 minutes, how many can I send? Now, part two to this is you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to do the exact same thing, but you're going to send it through Messenger of Facebook. And you're going to identify some people. And you're going to only send maybe 20 at a time. Again, one at a time. Just do 20. Take a break. Don't worry about it. Later on in the day, when you think about it again, take that same video, send it to another 20 people with the same kind of message. Hey, in that case, of course, it's a different video, right? It's hey, I'm sending this to people who are friends of mine through Facebook Messenger. Two requests. Number one, simplest thing you could do is just hit forward. Send this to somebody else. That'd be the easiest thing you could do. Number two is to let me know if you could get a nicer, newer car and keep your payments relatively the same, right? And obviously, for some people, I could get it lower. For some people, it's a little bit higher, but relatively same. If you could get a nicer, newer car, just let me know what it would be. Like, just ask me, do you guys have any X's, whatever that is. You're going to create that video for Messenger and just send it out. So many of you don't realize how powerful it is. The network that's in your phone is just completely realized. You're not letting your own natural network, your own inner sphere of contacts, you're not letting them know what you need from them and that you can help them. So that's a simple thing to do. Costs nothing. Super free. Super easy. So I want you to try to do that. You can even, like I said, send it out tomorrow. And let me know how that works for you. I got to wrap up my stream here. I want to say thank you so much for tuning in. If you got any value at all, let's say you feel like, geez, John, I got $3 worth of value from this video stream. I got a whole $3. If you feel that way, if you honestly feel that way, give $3 to the campaign. If you got $100 worth of value, give $100 if you can. If you got $1,000 worth of value, but you don't have $1,000, but you have $20, give $20. Help Michelle out. Help Chad out in this time of need. It's simple. We're all in this family together. Hashtag AutoFam, right? So listen, I appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for being part of this stream. If you're catching the replay, which many of you will be doing, thank you for catching the replay. If you got value from this, share this replay. Share it. Tag somebody. Tell somebody to watch this video. And then if they see value, they can use the GoFundMe link as well, right? All right, thanks so much, guys. I appreciate it. I'm going to let you guys get on to the next stream, which I believe started just now. So I'll let you guys catch the next streamer as we're doing this 24-hour telethon kind of campaign. On behalf of Michelle, we are thinking of you. We are praying for you. Chad, you are in our hearts and prayers. We're so sorry that this is happening to you and your family right now in this difficult time. You're not alone, okay? You're not alone. Thanks, guys. Bye.